Please welcome Anthony Cumia.
Thank you. Oh my God. Let me get my glasses. Oh. First off, anyone see that Jake Paul Tyson fight last night? Yeah? You did? It was, strangely enough, it's a weird turn of events. A young white guy beating up an old black guy and running off with the money. Maybe we are turning this around. Once the PC nonsense started, it was the last nail in the coffin for personality-driven radio. I noticed a big change in 2008. You all remember what happened in 2008? It was an election. When Obama got elected, I lost my mind on the air. I didn't break any rules, but I just let it be known I was none too happy with our new president-elect. And watching the black community just euphoric over this, over free stuff. He wasn't even the president yet, and I was watching some of these news programs, and they were doing the on-the-street interviews, and I was just watching, I got my Obama phone, and I'm like, I'm paying for that. I'm going to be paying for this. So I started being a little more vocal about my displeasure with the election and what I was seeing, because we had already started seeing this encroaching disdain for white society and white people, white innovation, all the great things that were available in this country. People were just kind of co-opting and discounting who came up with all this stuff. And, you know, he tried to come off like a president for all people, just a knock-around guy, a little nerdy. But again, like most black leaders, I use the term very loosely in this country, their first number one agenda is black people. And yeah, thank you, yes. They talk about being a president for all people. Well, a president for all people doesn't talk about different races. They talk about Americans. If you are an American in this country and you're a contributing member of society, you will benefit from a leadership that provides for American people. You don't need subsectors. And what is he going to, they literally say, what is he going to do for black people? Well, if you act like a civilized human being in a civil society, you will get everything that everyone else gets. But that is not the way. But no one wants to address the actual problem. Young blacks are going into places and stealing because no one is stopping them. There's no shame anymore. There's no consequence anymore. In the olden days, when I was a child, there was consequence to things. And I hate that they call it shoplifting. This is intimidation robbery that's going on. It's strong-arm robbery. Yeah. I got in trouble and I got fired for voicing my opinion, a very popular opinion, that there is a problem in the black community with a jump to violence. There's no thank you, yes. It reminds me of, who was that? Reese in the Terminator? They can't be bargained to, they can't be reasoned with. It's Terminator. There's no talking. I was out in Times Square, nice summer evening, and I had an apartment on 51st Street, and I had a new Canon camera with a beautiful lens on it. And I figured it's nighttime, it's Times Square, I'm gonna take some photos. Times Square is it's the most photographed place on Earth, on the planet Earth. So I wasn't doing something insanely crazy. I was taking a picture of something that's photographed all the time. So the Canon isn't like a cell phone. You hear the camera. And I was taking pictures all night. People, lights, the city, the theaters. And I snap one, and I hear, "Oh, no, you did not take my picture." And this woman is coming over, like, hand up, ready to go. I'm like, "I'm just taking pictures of the city. It wasn't you." She was walking away from me, so her back was turned. But regardless of the situation, I knew there was a problem. So I'm trying to explain. That lasted 0.03 seconds. She just wails me in the side of the head. And I'm trying to protect my very expensive camera and, my parts and everything else. And she's just going off on the side of my head. I'm like, hey, what the are you doing? You don't take pictures of me. Erase that. And I go, "I am taking pictures. It's completely legal. I can take," again, no reasoning, no bargaining. So I walked away. I went back to my apartment, and my horrid crime, for which I was fired and chastised by the media, was commenting, writing about it on Twitter. I wrote that there is a problem in the black community with violence, that there is no talking. I said this woman acted like a savage. I used the word savage. She was, call it like you see it. There had been all kinds of rumors and misinformation that I dropped N-bombs. I never did. I knew the rules to Twitter, and I just wouldn't do that. But I said she was acting like a savage. I go, this problem has to be addressed. This is something that the clergy in black communities talks about. They make up little rhymes about it. We got to silence the violence. It's like they know it. I wasn't saying anything that wasn't completely known. And the next day, I get a call again from my agent, and he's like, "Oh my God, we are in so much trouble. This is terrible." I go, "What? I just commented. I walked away. I de-escalated. And I'm saying things that many people have said." "No, SiriusXM is very angry. They don't want you to." And I'm like, "SiriusXM, it's satellite radio. I wasn't even on the air. This was my personal time." How many people have been called a racist in this, right? Yeah. It really is amazing. I was talking to a friend and said, if I was a real live racist, and I sat at a bar, I've had plenty of times, I sit at a bar, a Yankee game was on or something, and a black guy would come in and get a beer and go, "Yeah, wow, he's hitting great." And I think I'm supposed to go, "Hey, boy, won't you move on down the bar there, boy?" No one does that. No one actually does that. You sit and go, "Yeah, that guy is hitting pretty good." There's not this insane racist guy. You judge people on an individual basis, but when you go home to your families and to your community, you want to be amongst your own people. And that's all we want.